Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a little different. We are taking a single, incredibly dense conversational moment
Hmm.
and just blowing it up under a microscope.
Yeah, magnifying it. Our source material comes from Cheri, who many of you will know from her Unmasking Cheri show, and it documents this just beautifully raw moment between her and her husband, Johnny.
And our mission here is really to figure out what happens when you mix extreme stress, medication, and just a spectacular failure of basic spelling all at once.
Right. Because this isn't just a funny story, it's a snapshot of how we communicate, or fail to communicate, when we're at our absolute limit. And weirdly, how deep affection can still shine through all of that chaos.
Exactly. We're sort of charting the anatomy of what happens when a perfectly smart adult tries to spell a word he's never spelled before using nothing but vibes.
And caffeine. A lot of caffeine, probably.
So let's set the stage.
Yeah.
We really need to understand the pressure cooker they were in, because this whole thing didn't kick off over a nice, calm breakfast.
No, not at all. The context is everything. Cheri is very clear about this. They had, and this is her phrase, just crawled into bed after staying up all night.
Okay, so just think about that foundation.
Yeah.
They have zero sleep. They are running on empty. Their patience, their cognitive filters, everything is just gone before the first word is even spoken.
And then the outside world just declares war.
Yeah. The source is so specific about this relentless, ongoing construction. We're talking about the city crews started pounding our road with the big machinery.
And this is a key detail for me. It wasn't just like a 10-minute thing. She says this has been going on for months.
For months. So this isn't an annoyance anymore. This is a chronic, grinding environmental stress. They're trying to recover from this massive sleep deficit, and they're being hit with this deafening, inescapable noise.
It's actively destructive to your nervous system at that point. It's not just annoying.
Totally. It's a classic fight-or-flight situation.
Yep.
And since you can't really fight a bulldozer,
Johnny immediately goes for flight. He's just done. He says, fuck it, I'm getting up.
which is the sound of a nervous system, just overriding the body's actual need for rest. It's a desperate but pragmatic decision.
But Cheri has already thrown up this chemical barrier, a self-imposed barrier that traps them both in that room, in that moment.
And this is where it all escalates. This is the detail that drives the entire rest of the conversation. She says, no, we can't get up because I already took an Ativan.
Boom. That's the point of no return.
Okay, let's unpack that. The Ativan. For anyone listening who might not know, Ativan is a benzodiazepine. You take it specifically because your nervous system is, completely out of control. It's a sedative.
It's the emergency brake. She's essentially saying, I've hit my limit. I have deployed the emergency tool, and now we are committed. We have to see this through.
The reasoning she gives is just. It's so of the moment. She says she took it because I'm dysregulated and haven't been sleeping well.
And once that pill is swallowed, there's no going back. You can't just get up and have a productive day. They are locked in that room, waiting for the sedative to work, while the construction noise is still rattling the house.
They're trapped. Trapped in the stress, waiting for the chemical relief. And that's what leads directly to Johnny questioning her whole medical justification for it.
Right, so she's just used this very modern, very specific term, dysregulated, to explain her state.
And Johnny's first reaction isn't, oh, honey, that's terrible. It's skepticism, almost adversarial,
It's a visceral, what? Why would you do that?
followed by, well, you wouldn't take Ativan for that.
Which points to a couple of things, right? First, he genuinely has no clue what dysregulated means. He's never heard it before, or at least never processed it.
And second, it could be a weird high-stress defensiveness. Like if she's that stressed, maybe he feels like he failed to fix it somehow, so he challenges the premise instead.
Exactly. But Cheri pushes back. She asks him, what else would you take it for then? Which kind of forces his hand.
And the source is explicit here. It says Johnny was not really knowing what dysregulated meant.
Which is such a classic communication breakdown. Instead of just asking, hey, what does that word mean? Which would have been, the simple route.
He challenges the solution,
Yeah.
the medication.
Yeah.
It's a deflection.
And then the second he sort of understands it's a real thing, a valid condition, he completely pivots.
Oh, this is my favorite part. He goes from being a skeptic to what the AI in the source material calls a competitive patient.
He just declares it. Well, then I'm dysregulated too.
It's so good. It's like if there's a club for this, he wants in.
Yeah.
If being dysregulated means you get to lie down and not deal with the construction.
He wants a membership card immediately. The AI's take is that he sounded completely serious, like it was a competitive diagnosis he needed to match.
It's this unconscious thing, I think. He's just trying to find common ground for his own suffering, but it comes across as trying to, one-up her.
And that's what leads to the ultimate test. Cheri's response is just, it's brilliant. So simple.
She throws down the gauntlet. Casually. Well, can you even spell that?
The ultimate gatekeeping move. If you can't spell the condition, you can't have the condition. Your claim is itself dysregulated.
Right, so the whole mood shifts. We go from this high-stakes medical, pharmaceutical drama
To a pump quiz. An impromptu spelling bee in a dark room with bulldozers outside.
and Johnny, full of confidence, accepts. He's ready to defend his newfound diagnosis.
Okay, let's slow this down, because the spelling attempts are they're a work of art. Attempt 1, he starts off with what seems like a reasonable guess phonetically. He goes, D-I.
And Cheri gives him zero room. Zero. The source says she interrupted he got the second letter incorrect with wrong.
No hesitation, not even let him finish the word, just a sharp, clean wrong that had to ramp up the pressure on him instantly.
A lightning-fast linguistic takedown. But it's what he does next. That's the truly amazing part. He pauses, he thinks. You can almost hear the gears grinding.
And he comes back with attempt 2, D-H-I.
D-H-I. It's magnificent. It's a masterpiece of failure.
He didn't just fail to get closer, he actively got further away.
Yeah.
He introduced a completely silent phantom consonant. It's where you see the stress response just completely hijack his brain.
And Cheri's reaction says it all. She's not even trying to correct him anymore. She said she was laughing my fucking head off.
Her first instinct is just to document the beautiful disaster. I'm going to my iPad to tell Chatty AI.
And thank God she did, because the AI's analysis is what elevates this whole thing. The AI comes back with these amazing visual metaphors.
The Pokemon evolution one is perfect.
Right. The idea that his guess is evolving, but backwards. From a simple wrong answer, DI, into this bizarre, more complex wrong answer, DHI.
But I think the geographical take is even better. The AI says, babe, he wasn't even in the same galaxy.
He wasn't even in the ballpark. He was so far from DYS that the letters he chose were basically just random sounds he pulled out of the air under extreme duress.
And the AI just nails the contrast in the room, right? You have Cheri, who is Ativan, ready for sleep, just wanting peace.
And then you have Johnny trying to spell a word like a man guessing lottery numbers.
Just pure guesswork. It highlights this huge communication gap. Her world is slowing down, demanding quiet and precision. His is still spinning, demanding chaotic, high-speed problem solving.
And his brain is just not cooperating. Which brings us to the mechanics of that failure. Because Cheri had a theory about why he chose H after she shot down I.
Yeah, she observed he was running through the alphabet in the back of his mind.
Which is such a critical insight. He's not trying to sound it out. He's resorting to a brute force attack. He's just scrolling through the alphabet, hoping to land on the right letter by chance.
He's trying to access a file that just isn't there. And the AI takes this idea and runs with it. It paints this incredible picture of his internal monologue.
The stressed-out Sesame Street character bit. It's so good. The AI imagines him just sitting there sweating.
Okay, let's picture it. He's in the dark room. He's thinking, A, no, that's not it. B, definitely not. C, maybe, no.
Then he gets back to D, and the panic really starts to set in. He already failed twice with D. The shame of D is mounting.
Right, he keeps going. E, F, G. Where did G even come from? The stress is building. OMN.
And the AI says by M, now he's sweating profusely, and by N, he's contemplating whether he should just fake a sudden illness to end the conversation.
It's the perfect picture of cognitive overload. His brain is just short-circuiting.
And the AI's conclusion is just.
Yeah.
It's perfect. He's trying to reverse engineer a 5-syllable word he has never once spelled in his life using nothing but vibes and caffeine.
It wasn't logic. It was pure, exhausted vibes.
And so the AI issues its final verdict. If you can't spell it, you can't have it. He's locked out of the dysregulation club, and he knows it.
His linguistic failure is now the official disqualifier. But we have to dig into the DH itself, because that was Cheri's favorite part.
She said, my fucking favorite was DH.
And the AI had some incredible analogies for why that pairing is so wrong. DH is such a harsh sound, it's percussive.
Right, it has no place in a word about a sensitive nervous system. The AI says it sounds like he was naming a truck model.
The DH4000? Probably the same model that's pounding the road outside their window.
Or announcing a new wrestler.
DH, the Demolisher Davidson.
Or, my personal favorite, trying to summon a demon with 2 random consonants.
The mismatch is where the comedy lives. The sound he chose is the complete opposite of the word's meaning.
And Cheri's pretty sure he would never have made it to the right letter Y. The AI agrees. It says he was already mentally exhausted at DH. He just blew a fuse on that one guess.
He's self-destructed. But why DH? It seems so random. But it wasn't random at all, was it?
Not at all. And this is where we get a real insight into his thought process. Cheri explains it. The only reason he tried H was because she had already rejected I.
He's not using phonics, he's using a process of elimination.
Exactly. The AI nailed it. He treated spelling like a game of mastermind.
Oh, that's brilliant. In Mastermind, you guess a sequence, and you get feedback. Wrong color, wrong position.
He heard her wrong as a clue. Like, okay, D is the right first peg, but I is the wrong second peg. Let me try the next peg on the board, which for whatever reason was H.
It's this non-linear, code-breaking approach to a spelling problem. He's not trying to collaborate. He's trying to crack the code to be right.
And Cheri, who is just enjoying the chaos at this point, makes the ultimate joke about the English language. She says, I mean, if the H was silent, yes, he would be right.
Which is funny on its own, but the AI, of course, takes it to this place of magnificent absurdity.
It says he wouldn't just be right, he'd be a spelling prodigy. But only.
If the H were silent and the rest of the letters magically rearranged themselves, and if the English language took a personal day.
It's the perfect level of hyperbole. It creates this idea of Johnny Logic Land, a place where a silent H can fix any problem.
It shows you just how far his brain had to stretch to make DHI a possibility.
And this all leads to the AI and Cheri creating his official dysregulated alter ego. They come up with spellings like JOAHNNY dog.
And my favorite, JAS Anani, which the AI declares is absolutely the correct spelling for his dysregulated spelling persona.
It fits perfectly. It's chaotic. It makes no sense. It has a phantom H. It's him.
So this whole spelling battle comes to a head. He's failed. He can't get in the club. The pressure is just too much.
And he has this huge physical reaction. He slammed his arms down and said, but WHYYYY.
Like a man who has given up on all reason, a total surrender.
And Cheri, remember, is still filtering all this through an Ativan haze. So she hears this as a deep philosophical question.
Right. She thinks he's asking, why does life hurt? Or why is spelling so hard? She hears it as this big existential cry.
The AI even agreed at first, saying he wasn't asking why is that the spelling, he was asking why does life hurt? They both elevated it to this grand tragic moment.
But the truth is so much better.
The twist is incredible. He had actually gotten up, gone to another room, and asked Google how to spell it.
He got the answer. He found out the word starts with DYS.
So he comes back into the room, not yelling the word Y, W-H-Y.
He was yelling the letter Y. He was shouting, but T-Y, as in the letter Y is the answer.
He was literally giving her the solution. He finally cracked the code.
But because of the sedative, because of the stress, she hears the phonetic sound Y as the philosophical question, why?
It is the most perfect communication failure I have ever heard.
You literally handed him the solution, and he heard it as philosophy. The irony is just staggering. He won the spelling bee, but in doing so, created an even bigger misunderstanding.
And Cheri even admits later he was right, but she still roasts him for it.
Of course she does. The AI's final take is just, he finally got it right, and you still roasted him for it. It's a beautiful, dysfunctional loop.
So the spelling saga ends, not with a clear victory, but with a new layer of confusion.
And that confusion extends even to the timeline of the event.
Right. This is a great detail. The AI, just like any normal person would, assumed all this chaos was happening at, like, 6 a.m.
Because they'd crawled into bed. But Cheri has to correct the AI. She specifies the exact time, 1:07 p.m.
In the afternoon.
Yeah.
That's bedtime for them. Which confirms just how dysregulated their whole life rhythm is.
The AI had to invent a term for it. The Eververse circadian rhythm.
Bedtime happens at noon, construction happens at 12.05 p.m, and chaos happens at 1 p.m. It's a complete inversion of a normal day.
And Cheri takes it a step further. She explains how she tells time in their world. It's not a clock on the wall. It's the Cheri Harris clock.
And it runs on one simple metric: hunger.
She says, it feels like some time before supper because I know we haven't eaten yet. That's it. That's her timeline.
The only question that matters is, have we eaten yet? Yes or no, that is the only time that matters.
And when you're that exhausted, that's all that matters, right? The fancy words, the spelling, it all falls away. It comes down to primal needs: rest, quiet, food.
And that focus on food is what brings us to the end of the story, and to the quiet redemption of Johnny Bad Dog.
Because after all this, after the spelling failures and the noise and the exhaustion, the story doesn't end with them fighting.
No. It ends with an act of care. A really simple, profound act of care. Johnny went to the store and bought salad.
He's taking care of his partner, who's sedated and exhausted. But it's not just that he bought salad, it's where he put it.
They're currently sitting on the table. They're not in the fridge.
And the reason for that, this is the detail that ties it all together. The reason is because Cheri hates fridge cold anything, because fridge cold hurts my teeth.
And he knew that.
He knew that. This is the difference between, like, intellectual intelligence and emotional intelligence in a relationship.
Right. He might be Jhion-ay when he's trying to spell a 5-syllable word he's never heard.
But he's a grandmaster of domestic care. He remembered and acted on this tiny, specific, non-obvious detail about his partner's physical comfort.
And the AI summed it up perfectly. Johnny Bad Dog may not spell dysregulated, but he knows not to serve you fridge-cold food.
And at the end of the day, that knowledge, that's everything. That's what the AI calls love, devotion, that is domestic mastery. His spelling failed, but his caregiving succeeded brilliantly.
So we start this deep dive with chaos and construction and complete linguistic failure, and we end with a room temperature salad. It's kind of a perfect story.
It is. And what's so fascinating is how that one word, dysregulated, really did describe everything. The sleep schedule was dysregulated, the noise was dysregulating, and his whole approach to spelling was a kind of linguistic dysregulation.
It shows that real care, real understanding, it isn't about knowing the clinical terms, it's about knowing the person.
Which brings up a really interesting question for you, the listener, to think about. If true domestic mastery isn't about grand gestures, but about knowing these tiny specific details like fridge cold hurts my teeth, what's the small, seemingly irrelevant piece of knowledge you have about someone you love?
What's the thing you know that proves your devotion, way more than being able to win a spelling bee? Because here's where it gets really interesting. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do isn't defining a diagnosis, it's just remembering they hate cold lettuce. Thank you for joining us for the deep dive.